Well, what is up, you awesome geeks? Camera geeks, right? Geeks are not hip, but camera geeks are cool. Anyway, yeah, what's going on, you guys? Good morning. Sam from CameraLegend.com, and it's very quiet right now, back with you today. And today I'm gonna do a new series for you guys. I'm gonna call it, remember in the last video how I talked about wanting to be more engaged with you guys. So this is that series. I'm gonna call it Sunday Stories. I want to say I'm gonna try to do it on Sundays, and since I'm so commitment phobic, I don't want to say I want to do it every Sunday. I mean, that is the goal, but in any event, it's going to be on Sundays, okay? So this is the segment where I'm just going to tell you some interesting, hopefully interesting, photography related stories, but I don't want it to be all inclusive to photography, because I got a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm going to share with you guys that is not photography related, but you might be interested in during this series. Today I'm going to be addressing three comments or questions from viewers or readers of the blog or this channel. And let's start with the first one. And I put everything down right here in my little journal. Okay, so let's go to that first question. And the first question comes from my good friend, my buddy Frank. You know who you are. So he left a remark on the blog that says, and I'm not quoting it, but what he was basically asking was, he said that based on my Leica M8 review that you guys saw a couple of postings ago, he looked up the prices for a Leica M8.2 on eBay, and he found that the prices were quite a bit more than the prices that I stated. And so I looked it up myself, and I was flabbergasted really with the prices that I saw for the Leica M8.2 and the original Leica M8. And all I want to say is that on my review, the prices that I was giving, which I said the Leica M8 prices were trending between 1,000 to 1,600. Those are based on places that I call legitimate dealers, like KEH or Use Photo Pro, places like that. But when you go to eBay, as most of you know, it's really a free-for-all. You know, prices can be all over the map and sometimes way too high. So for items like the Leica M8 that I know are available from these dealers, you know, even though they're not there every day, but if you just keep an eye on these dealers, they will always show up. So I base my prices on legitimate dealers. Now, if an item is really rare and only comes on eBay, then I would base my prices on eBay. But in the case of the Leica M8 or the M8.2, what I will say is, when you look at the eBay prices, I don't think that I would pay $2,000 or $2,500 for a Leica M8 or an M8.2. For that price, I would just rather look for a used M9 maybe with an updated sensor. Okay, so that's just my take on it. But if you guys want the prices that I quoted, just keep an eye on the legitimate dealers. Okay, so that's question number 3. Let's go to question number 2. Okay, here it goes. All right, so okay, this one, a fellow on Instagram actually privately messaged me, so I'm not gonna say the name, but privately messaged me about the Contax N Digital. I guess I saw my N Digital review. There was a fellow or somebody who is actually has a video on YouTube stating that he had his Contax and digital repaired in China, and he was asking me, he was wondering if I had heard of that. And so my answer to that is that yes, the person who actually made the video had actually left a comment on my original Contax and digital review and mentioned the same thing. I think before they even put the video up. But once they put the video up, I looked at it again, and I had actually contacted the person because they had left, I think, an email. And when I contacted the person, I never heard back from them. And I contacted them, I think, again, and I still haven't heard back from them. So that's the reason why I didn't mention that in my Contax and digital review, because I don't want to be putting out bad information if it's not true. Plus, since nobody really knows what this really is, I wouldn't want to be sending my camera all the way around the world to some little shop that nobody knows. So the person who actually said that they got their N digital fixed, if you're out there watching, please let us know, because we would all be interested in that, or all of us who really love the Contax and digital. Thank you. Okay, so the last question of the day comes from a really great street photographer. His name is Bob Matter. You know who you are. And I hope you don't mind if I said your name, because that's your screen name anyway, right? So the whole world knows about it. But Bob Matter, great, as I said, great street photographer, and I would consider him a friend on Instagram here. And so he had posted a really nice picture of a Volkswagen Beetle buggy, and I said, I think I commented something like, you know, I love these Beetles, and we discussed about how we're both fans of these Volkswagen bugs because they make such great you know, photo subjects. And he left me a question that said, so Sam, what would you consider the Volkswagen of cameras? And so I thought about it. In fact, when I read that, I was like, hey, that's a great question, because you stumped me, you know. You stumped me, Bob. Anyway, yeah, I had to think about it actually. So the more I thought about it, I came to the conclusion, I think I mentioned to him, there were a few options, but like, for example, maybe something big and ugly to some people, but to some people it's very beautiful, like the Leica M5. To me it's very beautiful, but to some people it's really ugly. But I think if I had to make a choice, I would say that the thing closest to a Volkswagen buggy of cameras would be any of the Polaroid one-step cameras, because of their big bug eye, or maybe even something like a Contax bullseye, something like that. So that would be my answer, pretty much, probably the Polaroid one-step cameras. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this segment. So feel free to leave a comment or question on any of the reviews or any of the videos or anything on the blog, and never know, maybe one day I will feature your question or comments. I know it's not what you expected. In fact, actually, it's not even what I expected. What I was doing was, I just hung some film that I developed from this camera. This is Connie Omega, the most affordable medium format. And if you need to know, I got a 58mm wide angle on this baby, and of course the finder, but I'm gonna see what the pictures look like. I've used the Connie Omega before in the 90s. In fact, it was actually my very first medium format camera because it's cheap, but great quality. And so that's for future reviews. So I'm gonna be doing more of these segments because I am doing this in between the time that I make those big long ass reviews that nobody looks at. You know what I mean? But this is my way of staying engaged with you guys, because the long reviews take me a lot of time. I don't know how you guys do it, you high volume YouTubers. I give you all the credit in the world because, you know, I work and I find it very hard to put all this stuff together. It's time consuming, get all the pictures, You know, especially if you're doing films, scan them all and put them all, and then edit them and put music to it and narrate it and all that stuff. I don't know how you guys do it, but I'm working on the next big one, so I hope you guys stay tuned for that. And as I said, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, because on this channel you definitely will see things that you will not see on other channels. Even if it takes a long time, you will eventually see them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time on thecameralegend.com. And well, I don't know if you can actually hear the leaf shutter on this thing, but I'm gonna do it for you guys. I will catch you guys next time on thecameralegend.com and cable release. YouTube channel.
CameraLegend.com